What's up, Ben? How's it going, man?
All right, man. How are you?
I'm all good, all good. Listen, Thursday night, Europa League semi-final, second leg. Atletico Madrid at home to Arsenal. It's 1-1 from the first leg. Most people that I come across are all saying Atletico Madrid is going to be easy to go through. What do you think, Ben?
I don't think it's going to be easy. I think Atletico are the favourites. I think they're the favourites of most people. But I think we've got to remember that Arsenal don't need to win. They could draw. They could draw 2-2. They could win on penalties. I think it's going to be a very tight game again. It's going to be really interesting because Atletico, the whole game last time was predicated by the early sending off, which Atletico were deep. They got that goal, which was huge. I thought Griezmann's celebration was brilliant, and his finish was good, considering like all the players around him and flying in. He had no help. I'm not sure. I'll tell you what, I'm backing Arsenal, partly because I'm a Spurs fan, so I'm quite worried that Arsenal will win and get through. But also, I think if you think about Arsenal as a club, these are the games where they actually do get through. Like if you think 89, if you think traditionally, Arsenal have often pulled out results where you least expect. Like the Cup Winners' Cup final against Parma. I know I'm going back a long time, even before Wenger. But there is a DNA in Arsenal that can pull out these results.
Okay.
I think Atletico are not going to wipe the floor with them. So you would imagine Arsenal would have a chance.
In general, Ben, when it comes to this tie, what everyone's focusing on that I speak to is that Arsenal are away from home, okay? So Arsenal away from home in the Premier League this season, lost every single game, lost last weekend at Manchester United.
This calendar year.
Sorry, I meant this calendar year in 2018 exactly. But away from home in the Europa League, they've done all right. They won at Ostersunds, they won at AC Milan, obviously, and they picked up a draw in the last round at CSKA Moscow. Not an easy game, away in
CSKA
Russia.
put them under pressure as well.
So I don't know. I think Arsenal can score. Obviously, if it's 0-0, Ben. You said that Arsenal don't need to win, but because 0-0, they'll go out. They have to score. But I think they can score. This is how we think they're going to line up in midweek. Lacazette will obviously be up front, and then they'll go with their big guys. They've got to go for it. Ramsey in midfield, Welbeck, Ozil, Mkhitaryan. We're saying no room here for Wilshere in the team.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was going to say, I know Aaron, who's a big Arsenal fan, is going to be at the game in the away end. He put these teams together.
Yes.
I think Wilshere will play. I think Wilshere will start.
For Xhaka, even though he was captain last weekend?
No, for Mkhitaryan or Welbeck, and I think he'll throw on Mkhitaryan and Welbeck. Maybe even Ozil, but probably not towards the end of the game when they actually need the goal. Maybe when they put the pressure on. I thought Atletico the other day were terrific though. They've got some really good players. The talk is in Spain that Costa will start.
Yeah. So
that's very interesting because Costa. I don't quite have the stats to back this up, but it always felt like Costa bullied Arsenal when he did play them. For Chelsea.
Definitely. He definitely scored against Arsenal a hell of a lot. That will be very good for them. Biggest problems Atletico in their selection issues is again no fullbacks. They obviously had the guy sent off, the right back sent off in the first leg.
Vrsaljko?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm steering clear of his name, but he will be missing from this game. Felipe Luis is still out. Juan Fran's still out.
Yeah.
We've got Thomas, as you just saw in our lineup. Thomas is actually a really good player. Thomas has given a really good interview on Wednesday before the game to the Independent, where he said the day before the first leg, Diego Simeone trained Atletico Madrid to be 10 versus 11. He was preparing them to have a man sent off. Which is just interesting that Diego Simeone would even think about that. It
does kind of feel that if whoever Simeone managed would win this tie. It is starting to feel like that. But at the same time, this is Wenger's third last Arsenal game. It's been a long time. I think there is that motivation. It could play a part. From where I'm sitting, I think Arsenal could go through. Not easily, it'll be a battle, but they could surprise a lot of people here.
In general, Ben, I just want to go off the Arsenal tangent a little bit. We still don't know who's going to be the Arsenal new manager. There's been quite a lot of speculation this week. We have the Liverpool assistant coach, Buvac. He's just come from
the
brain come from nowhere. In the running, actually, in the bookies, it's Buvac is now number 1, Allegri 2, Ancelotti 3, Enrique is 4.
Yeah.
In general, Ben, I don't know if I'm right to conclude this, but it's starting to feel that Arsenal, to me, didn't have a succession plan.
I think there's a lot going on here. They didn't have a succession plan, no. There are lots of people having a say. Josh Concrete, Sven Mislintat, Raul Sanlehel. There's a lot of guys in the mix. So they're all pushing their men. But I think also one of the things that's dawning on us and also Arsenal fans and probably the wider football world is that Arsenal don't have that much money. And they're not actually as cash rich as you would think.
Right.
or willing to spend that money.
I mean, there was the story Enrique in France football that he wanted over 200 million euros.
Yeah.
And they basically said, no, we don't have it. And that's why.
Yeah, I think that's I'm not sure. I think the management of the club in the last few years have been pretty poor, because you look at their biggest ever transfer spend was the summer Xhaka came. And they didn't really spend that well on great players, but they spent more than they've ever spent before. The wages they've given to like players like Aubameyang, Mkhitaryan, who are towards the end of the 20s, now looks... Well, I think you're going to need a magician, basically. And I think that magician is either the brain, who we don't really know much about, but I think that man is Leonardo Jardim, the Monaco manager, who has done exactly this. Albeit it's going a bit wrong now. They're dropping down the Ligue 1 table and things are not going so smoothly. And he is leaving. But he's a guy who's done this before. And also, I think Sunday proved at United that Arsenal do have enough good young players. Maitland-Niles, Reece Nelson, Eddie Nketiah. These guys... You could build a team around them, but I think you need a manager who will be able to do that. And therefore, I would go for somebody like Jardim, maybe a Paulo Fonseca, maybe a... I wouldn't go for these big names, like potentially Allegri, but not Ancelotti. I think he's the wrong man. I think Enrique's the wrong man as well. I think they dodged a bullet.
How influential and how important is this Europa League tie getting into the Champions League?
This is enormous. This is the whole season.
Yeah.
This is absolutely the whole season. I'll be honest, I don't take pleasure in hating Arsenal, but if they don't win this, I will enjoy the evening. And if they do go through, I'll be worried that they'll be in the Champions League next season. That's the bottom line. And if they're not in the Champions League next season, it does leave them in more of a precarious place financially. I think this game is probably worth around £50 million for them. I know you don't get as much money. United didn't get as much money by going through the Europa League, but look, Arsenal are a club that could win this tournament next. I know they've had a lot of desperate years in the tournament, but the English teams are starting to do better in it. They could come good under a good manager, and they'll have a go. I mean, do you not think the same?
No, I think this is definitely the same. I think this is a huge match. But let's get to our predictions, Ben. On the website, on our preview, Aaron, who wrote our predictions in our lineups, he said 3-0 to Atletico Madrid, and he's an Arsenal fan.
And he's going to be there.
Yeah,
so I'm hoping for him it doesn't go like that.
I'm going to go more confident. I'm going to go for an Arsenal win. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Arsenal win. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I'm going to go for it. What do you think, Ben?
I'm going to go 2-1 Atletico. I think Simeone's, Costa, Griezmann, they've got a lot on their side. I will say we haven't mentioned the Wanda Metropolitano, which, albeit they've played there and had some okay results, some decent results, but they've not really played there, from my memory, in a game which has been as big as this. Well, so will that play in their hands, or... I mean, it looks like a lovely stadium, good atmosphere.
We haven't mentioned that. Also, Atletico Madrid haven't let in a goal at home in 2018. They have had 11 clean sheets. I mean, this isn't going to be easy.
But I don't think they've played as many teams with as good an Arsenal attack as this. Even Welbeck's playing very well. Mkhitaryan, Lacazette, Ozil's got a very good record against Atletico. I reckon 2-1 Atletico. I think it's going to be a very tight game. I think there'll be drama here. I think, for me, this is, of the 3 games over the 2 weeks, this is by far the best.
So there you have it. That's what we think. You let us know what you think in the comments below. And,
Subscribe.
Subscribe.
Please.